Findings and notes are meant to provide the reason why a certain score was assigned. Auditor notes need to reflect that the question guidelines have been followed. Findings must be consistent with the notes and score awarded for other related questions, i.e. cascading questions. Clearly identify the validation method or methods used to score the question. If more than one validation technique is required to score a question, the notes must indicate the results for each technique. Indicate what documentation was reviewed and what observations were completed and include a reference to the specifics of what was found. Quantification, example 8 out of 12, must be included to show how the percentage and scores were determined for documentation and observation validation techniques. Formulate a response based on the notes taken during interviews. The interview comments must be summarized in your own words, not quoted directly from what was commented. Identify the role of the interviewee where required, such as senior manager, manager, supervisor, worker, lead for formal hazard assessments, health and safety representative, and health and safety committee member. The percentage of positive and negative indicators must be specified and include examples of both positive indicators, if any points have been awarded, and/or negative indicators if any points have been withheld. For example, 86% of interviewees confirmed they are aware of the general content within the policies and procedures and provided examples to confirm their awareness, such as how situations of workplace violence are to be reported directly to the health and safety representative and how to obtain assistance by contacting the police. 14% of interviewees were not aware or able to explain the violence prevention plan. Notes must be original and specific to the audited employer's health and safety system during the current audit period, include company-specific details and examples, and be professional in style and content. They must also summarize the necessary information in the auditor's own words, using quotes only as needed to convey the meaning. Stick to the facts and just the facts. Do not include individual opinions in your findings. Formulate the notes from the third-person point of view. If possible, use a bullet format to separate items where appropriate to avoid running sentences. Be clear, concise, and correct. Write formal, complete sentences with proper punctuation and spelling. Quantification, for core audit purposes, is a numerical value to measure collected health and safety data in numbers. It is required for documentation and observation validation methods to show how the percent awarded is determined. In the findings, provide the number of documents reviewed with comparison to what is required in the guidelines and question criteria, i.e., if there are 4 items to confirm, then notes must identify how many of the 4 items were included. In question 1.1, there are 4 criteria that must be met in the health and safety policy to award full points. The policy has been signed by the current senior manager. There is a declaration of management commitment. The general health and safety responsibilities of managers, supervisors, workers, and contractors have been noted, as well as the expectation that employees will comply with applicable legislation and the organization's own health and safety standards is noted. Auditor's notes must include quantification as a numerical value, such as 4 out of 4, to show how the score was determined. In this example, how many jobs or positions were reviewed and how many had completed formal hazard assessments. In this case, the auditor's findings and notes must indicate that a review of the organizational chart in comparison to provided job or task listings supported that ABC Trucking Limited included 9 out of 9 jobs or positions within the formal hazard assessment system. For example, senior manager, operations manager, driver, dispatch, and mechanic roles were included. Example 3 follows Example 2 because in this case, it's a cascading question from 2.1. How many tasks were identified for each job or position? In this case, the auditor's findings and notes must indicate that the review of the formal hazard assessment found 78 out of 78 tasks associated with 9 out of 9 jobs. Note that each job also indicates the number of tasks associated with it. Example 4 is also a cascading question, in this case, cascading from 3.1. How many engineering controls were observed as implemented based on guideline requirements? In the findings, provide the number of items you observed with comparison to what is required in the guidelines and question criteria.